Brothers and sisters, welcome back to my channel. So today, tier list, Post YCS Indy, Ag of Alert, my brothers. Let's move on the tier list. Let's speed run this, there are a lot of decks. First of all, Marines. Marines, I never liked it. D. Drytron, actually Drytron might have some potential, B tier right now. I don't think it has the potential to be an A plus tier. Labyrinth, A tier, solid trap deck. Like, it works out, to be honest. Like, we saw multiple pro players being on Labyrinth and doing well enough, even though they didn't catch the dub yet. Kashtira B tier. The deck lost a lot after the ban list. Dark World, A tier, 100%. I'm not putting this S tier yet, but like, it's very close. I think there are many ways post side to play around Troll and Luckbird. Like, I was playing in Ranked and I saw people being on the Instant Fusion into Millennium Ice, and they were also playing the Koakimeru in order to play around the Troll and Luckbird. Definitely, like, there is a lot of potential. We can discuss about Gen and Ken. I don't think Gen and Ken are gonna be competitive yet. Talking about Dark World engine and stuff, I think the deck was already doing fine without those cards, and I think the issue is draw. And Koakimeru and cards like Instant Fusion into the Millennium Ice seems just better, to be honest. The cards are not bad, they have potential for danger, and you need to keep an eye on those cards. Like, we saw Mikanko, for example, going for the combo with the Gen and Ken, using the Acid Golem number 30 in order to lock his opponent from the extra deck, swapping the control with the Ken and the Golem using the Geonator Transversal. Potential for danger. Flanderies, if you wanna be my lover, don't play Flanderies. That shit will last forever. That shit will always break. So, Flanderies, today. B tier, not even close, to be honest. Like, there are so many decks that are just better than Flanderies right now. Even though it catch the dub, but like, the consistency of the deck is just a very big issue, which makes me lead to put this deck as a B tier. It's not, like, it's very close to be an A tier, but like, right now, I don't think the deck has good potential. Dracoslayer. Dracoslayer is, for my knowledge, because I'm not a Pendulum god, it's B tier. Unfortunately, the deck has some very big issues going second. Going first can put up like some amazing board depending on what you're playing. Like, you can actually FTK your opponent and stuff like that. Like, we saw the Exodia FTK during the YCS, and that like almost made me cry of love. Matmech. I'm sorry for the Matmech enjoyer. The only way I can see Matmech going on, maybe it's with some other Cybers package. Like, it's usually just a pile every time I see a Matmech deck. To be honest, the deck cannot like pull up with the rest of the meta. Like, cannot do anything, to be honest, right now. If like, there are so many ways to play around Matmech right now, like board breakers and stuff. And even though the end board would be strong enough, maybe, like with an SP Little Knight and with the Matmech trap in order to reborn, but like, seems so fragile right now, to be honest. B tier. Solid B tier, though. Solid B tier. Scarecrow. I mean, if we are talking about pure Scarecrow, C tier. 3 Brigade Lirlusk. Unfortunately, this deck did not pop off yet in the TCG. But like, the issue is the amount of pushes that this deck can perform. It's just an inferior version of every other S tier or A tier deck. Virtual World. I'm sorry, my brother, I loved you the most, but you are a D tier. Bestial Dragonlink, very close to being S tier, in my opinion. But like, again, it's a solid A tier, but like, it lost so much post-ban list that I don't feel like putting this as an S tier. Makes literally no sense. Earth Machine, I'm sorry, Peludo. 3 Brigade Sprite. 3 Brigade Sprite has the same issues. The amount of pushes is limited. It's very focused on having board presence. Eldritch, DTR, Plunder, Pure Plunder. Pure Plunder, it's a D tier. Trap Tricks is solid C tier. If you can call a C tier solid. Runic Sprite, we saw actually some lists popping off recently. I don't think you can pull up, like, I don't think this deck can actually have a chance against Unchained, but like, solid B tier, to be honest. Like, doesn't seem so bad. Talking about it, to be honest, like, it's not like horrible. Mikanko, we saw Ed doing very well during the YCS. Unfortunately, didn't top. Mikanko, solid strategy using the Acid Golem lock. The deck has too many issues, in my opinion. But like, Ed actually tried to work around those and end on a very solid board. And he decided to go first every time, which makes me lead to think that Mikanko has much potential to be discovered yet. So, B tier, Rickason Avalon disappears, and then you see that shit in Top Cat. Like, it's so underwhelming. The fact that Rickason Avalon disappears from every people watch before an event, and then you see a random Rickason Avalon topping the event. Like, it's like a shadow. A tier. Naturia Runic. Sure. Sword Sultani, in my opinion, cannot keep up the pace of the game. The deck has some major loose con, and also cannot, like, run SP Little Knight. Like, you can run SP Little Knight, but it's, like, bad in this deck, if that makes sense. B tier, because I'm a Sword Soul enjoyer myself, and we can maybe do something with that in the future. Tier Element strongest. Right now, there are two versions of the deck, right? Tier Element has two versions, right? Like the King of the Swamp one and the version without King of the Swamp. Then there is also a third version that came out from Agov, and we're gonna discuss it later. And it's the version with Orus. Right now, the one that's leading the most in the Top Cat is the one without King of the Swamp. I also tried to test the deck, actually. And I'm trying to find some techs and mitigate the issue by playing Gallan Granite in order to add a monocopy of Dark X Sealed Fusion, because it's a rock monster. And maybe, like, I think it's an interesting tech that you guys might try, because you can still play Rule Kalos, but you also play a way to get in, like, the basically a quote-unquote King of the Swamp that's the Dark X. So tier element, S tier, right? Like, I think the deck is super good right now. Version with the King of the Swamp, version without King of the Swamp, version with Orus. Maybe we're gonna discuss the version with Orus. I think it's good, but like, we're gonna discuss it. So, talking right now about the version with Orus. Okay, so tier Orus, it's a very interesting deck, because it relies on the Sarcophagus and on Imseti. Sarcophagus is kind of a bad card to draw. It's not, like, very bad to draw, but it's kind of an egg if your opponent is gonna, like, after you discard the card in order to put the Imset in the graveyard and your opponent pops it, like, that's a -2 right there. Okay, so you don't really want to do it, but also, like, you can use it to discard your Agido, your Kelbeck, your Shufflers, maybe a Malicious. You can also use it to discard, like, quote-unquote bricks like Tribikarma. So, playing a one-off of Sarcophagus seems like the most suited thing, right? And Imset is the broken card, okay? Imset discards, yeah, but also draws one and adds the Sarcophagus, which is a +0. And with Sarcophagus on the board, you can put Imset, discard another card, send the Api, and then special summon the Api. And those two cards on board, Imseti and Api, like, in my opinion, are very threatening. And also your opponent will have to deal with the Sarcophagus the next turn, because the recovery is very good in my opinion. I think right now I'm gonna give to the tier Orus a solid A tier, but like, guys, pay attention. I do actually personally think that the Orus engine is good. I disagree with people saying that the Orus engine is a scam and stuff like that. I'm watching the TCG, like the OCG topping with the Orus, and I think like the recovery of those cards is amazing. You might give it a shot, to be honest. I think the Submar engine might not be broken, but it's good. Gold Pride Punk, solid C tier. Solid C tier, actually. Sprite Melfi. Sprite Melfi is interesting right now because of the adventure of a Spirited Knight. It has some very big issues. I would put it as an A tier. I'm not really sure about it. But yeah, like, I'm gonna put it bottom A tier, but I'm not really sure about Sprite Melfi, to be honest. Runic Sprite Furire, I definitely think this deck is an A tier, even now. But like, there are like many ways to outplay it right now, to be honest. Especially with, right, SP is so threatening for this deck. But going into a board, and also there are not a lot of flex spots. I'm not really sure, actually. Maybe bottom A, top B might actually be dead, the slot, because like the amount of flex spot is concerning to me, and also cannot win against Unchained, which makes me think maybe like top B tier is probably top B tier, because any other deck that I'm mentioning right here, like they have a lot of flex spot, flexibility, when like the Runic Sprite Furire is known to have only 5, maybe 6 flex spot in the main deck. And that's not suited, in my opinion, right now for a deck. Branded Chimera. Branded Chimera, solid A tier. To be honest, like, nothing to say about this deck. The deck is performing solidly well in all the events. That would lead you guys to think that it's an S tier. I disagree. I think like the lines are so simple. That's why people are doing very well with it. Because it's a very straightforward deck and it's very hard to mess up with it. So it's like always playing with an 100% full potential deck against people that might potentially misplay with an S tier deck. That's what I feel. That's how I feel about Branded Chimera. Like, it's very hard to mess up, in my opinion, with Branded Chimera. Adventure Synchro, solid C tier. Snake Eyes, I didn't test it. So pure Snake Eyes, I'm not really sure how to rate it. Chat, I need your help. How would you rate it? A, B, C, or D? If it was S, like, would have seen it. It's probably not A, because otherwise we would have seen it. So we're gonna put it C for now. Just because, you know, it's a new archetype. Makes me uncomfortable to put it as a D tier. Altergeist, solid C tier. Infernoble is very dangerous right now, to be honest. I think Infernoble has so much potential right now. And also there is the ring, the new equip spell, that has a mandatory effect in order to negate spell cards. But you can mitigate that by using your Charlemagne in order to negate every spell that it's being activated. So you have a negation for 3 spells and then at least 2 monsters interruptions. Like, I actually think that Infernoble has so much potential and people are just not representing it enough. I will give Infernoble my bless as a bottom A tier. I will give Infernoble my blessing as a bottom A tier. I think the deck has so much potential. I think more people should try to discover this archetype. It's so good. Diabella Star Rescue Ace, S tier. We saw it in the OCG. We are seeing it in the TCG right now. And I think Super Eve, D tier. Runic Sprite, Evil Twin, I don't like it. B tier. Branded, you might hate me. I still think it's an A tier. I think it's... Right now, maybe I'm unsure about like Branded Chimera and how Branded play with each other. But like because now there is the new Chimera monster that came from Agov. So hate me, insult me, but this deck is a solid A tier deck. It's full power, has recovery, infinity grind, can push the boards. Like, it's so good, bro. It's actually so good. But people are not topping with Brand. I do understand that people are not topping with Brand. But like, the deck is actually good. Believe in me. Trust me. Dinosaur. Dinosaur is solid B tier deck. This deck, dinosaurs, actually. This deck has so much potential. I don't even think it's bad. Like, I actually think this deck has so much potential. Like, people are not on it, but I actually like it. Dino is very scary. Like, Dino is probably the only deck, it's probably one of the few deck, okay, included with the tier elements, obviously, that can out entire boards of Omni negations just by engine. That's how scary Dino is. I'm gonna put it top B tier, but like, it has high potential to be an A tier. People are just not representing it enough. Maybe in the future. Noel B tier, solid B tier, to be honest. Vanquish Soul. I mean, there is the new support of Vanquish. I didn't test it yet, the Gia Long. I didn't test it like Gia Long, stuff like that. I don't want to be too bad, right? I don't want to be too bad against Vanquish Soul. Gia Long is actually good. But at the end of the day, fuck Vanquish Soul, right? B tier. Purely S tier. I mean, we don't need to discuss about the pot, like, of how purely is being respected right now in the TCG, it's being played in the OCG, like, purely is good. Exosystem, B tier, Teller Knights, D tier, Tistina, I don't even know, D tier, Unchained, S tier. Okay, now we are starting seeing a trend, right? Like, we see Unchained, we see Purely, we see Rescue Ace Diabellstar. And if we move like Rescue Ace here, tier elements, Purely Unchained. That's literally the top cat. Like, those are the S tier deck of the moment, to be honest. Like, every one of those decks does very well. Vanadium. We saw Thrift piloting perfectly in Vanadium decklist. I tested the deck myself. Obviously, I'm still misplaying with it because, like, it was the first time touching the deck after a very long time. But felt super good. But I don't know how it would be better than Darkwood. Maybe because it plays better under... plays better under Troll, I guess. Like, slightly better under Troll. Plays slightly better under Troll and under Shifter. So, like, when Darkwood instantly lose to Shifter and Troll, this deck does not. A tier, but I really don't know, like, how Darkwood isn't just better than this deck. I feel like Darkwood, if your opponent has no Shifter or no Troll, you are breaking every board no matter what just by engine. You don't even need to play Flex Spot in a Darkwood deck, when in Vanadium you need to. Salaman Grey, it's B tier, right? Like, doesn't feel bad. Like, the deck is okay at the end of the day, right? It's an okay deck at the end of the day. Pendulum, it's always the same stuff. So I'm gonna give it a B tier because it's Pendulum. TGD. Sky Striker, C. Phantom Knight Orus, interesting take, actually. The issue about Phantom Knight is... I mean, yeah, we can move Sky Striker B. Like, that's not an issue. Phantom Knight Orus is interesting because Phantom Knight needs board presence. Like, the Orus stuff also mitigates that. And also, you play with the Phantom Knights and Orus, you also play the Aramejir engine, the Ride of Aramejir, which feels, in my opinion, super good into breaking a board. The issue is the amount of flex spots. The amount of flex spots impact, like, this deck a lot, in my opinion. B tier, and Hero downgraded, unfortunately, to a B tier. That said, I would give a special thanks to Diego, a fellow Italian streamer, which gave me this tier list. So thank you, Diego, and keep up with your amazing streaming performance and YouTube series. If I missed anything, just let me know in the comment section below. If you wanna hate on Branded, just let me know in the comment section below. If you think I disrespected Banky's soul, just let me know in the comment section below. I wish you guys a wonderful day. Love you all. And see you next time.